Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, actually. I don't think it's quite afternoon yet. We are currently looking at 62-ish degrees. Getting ready to do a very, very busy workload for the bees today. As you can see here, I've got honey super and I've got my queen excluders. Those are going to go on the tops of the box. Same thing with this one. I've got my supers and my excluders, and I've also got a couple other things I got to do today. I've got let's see if I can come over here. Bees are pretty busy. It looks like I got to also pull some weeds. Yuck. Look at all this. It's been very, very rainy, so I haven't been able to get out here. I've got all the things that I need in here. I've got my Formic Pro that I'm going to be putting on. That is those strips that you saw me take out of the hive boxes after they overwintered. Those are basically for mite treatment, so I'm going to try to do a mite count in addition to a mite treatment, in addition to putting on supers, in addition to I need to see if the queen migrated down to that bottom box. She wasn't there at the beginning of spring. So I need to see if she is there in both boxes this time around. If not, I need to basically shuffle some frames around or shuffle my queen around and get her down in that bottom, because I don't want them to feel like they're running out of room because they're only utilizing these two top boxes instead of these big, deep brood boxes, which they're intended to use. So I'll have to see. It's going to be a very labor forward day this morning, and it's only me, so I'm going to see what I can do. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today, a little dizzy. So we'll have to just kind of see how things go. I'll do the best I can, and definitely try not to get overheated. I'm already feeling warm in my suit, so I'm just going to have to try to go slow and be methodical, but also I don't want a huge bee swarm either, and they're already very busy. So all right, I got to get to it because it's only going to start getting warmer, so let's see what we can get done. Well, first things first, I got to take care of those weeds because otherwise I'm going to be tripping over them, and they're those thorny style ones. So put some leather gloves on and we'll get to it. Alright, just got my smoker going, so let's open this up and see what we got. Jeez. Okay, well, let us see what we have. Make sure there's no queen up top. Get my hook in there. It's pretty tight. Just right now looking at my bees that are on top, just looking at their wings. I'm also looking at the tops of their backs for mites. Looking good. Their wings look good. Not yet seeing any signs of deformed wing, which that's a sign of like mite overload in your hives. So just looking to see what we got. Well, they're just making honey. They're capping some stuff off. They're doing good. Show you here. My dogs are going crazy in the front yard. Okay, that is capped honey that they're making right there. You see that? So they are just closing off those cells. The back of this is completely empty, so I'm going to put this one back in. But I need to make room, so we're going to go through. And I will put this one back here. Sometimes it's no fun to lean over your bees. Oops, saw one drop. Okay, next one. Again, also just looking for, making sure that the queen is not up in here. Hopefully she's not. Also looking for things like eggs, just to make sure that I'm not seeing signs of her up in this top box. Ooh, that was a ping. Did you guys see that? I don't know if the camera caught it. I just got one right upside the veil. Came at me. A lot of drones. Well, not a lot, but they stand out because they're bigger. This one I'm seeing they are working through their nectar. They're filling up the nectar. Same thing on this one. There's no queen, so I'll show you. Can you see the shininess of this? Trying to get the best angle here for you guys so you can see. Like right through here. So right here is a drone. You see how big he looks? Drones are easily mistaken for a queen bee just because they're so big, but drones are big. That is a drone, and it's right next to his sisters. So that's, I'll point them out again here. Here's two. Here's a drone. Here's two drones right here. Do you see them? Two drones, one drone, two drones. See how big they are? Those are drones. They're easily mistaken for a queen. But you see that back thorax? It's not elongated. So that is not a queen. Okay, I am seeing some brood in here. So, got a little bit of baby brood, a little bit of drone brood right down at the bottom. That's usually where they put the drone brood, is at the bottoms of the frames. So this is a mix of, looks like some pollen. Nope. We've got some nectar in there, but also some baby drone brood. Okay, I'm just going to kind of try to keep that in here so I don't disturb the brood. It's also why I'm going to put the queen excluder over top of this box, so that way she can't come up. Her body, her thorax is too big to fit through that screen that I'm about ready to put over top of these. I do want to find her, and I do need to get a little bit closer down to the bottom so that way I can put those strips in. So I'll be doing that. This one's pretty full. Seeing a lot more capped brood. Not seeing any queen cells, which is good. Still checking, not seeing any mites, which I'm really happy to see. lot of, oh, see some pollen in there. That's good. Okay, so this is a mixed of brood and, oops, looks like I had a larvae fall out. That it happens. Sorry. Nothing I can do about it, and I can't put it back in, but I will show you what a, without trying to squish it here. This is, unfortunately, I can't do anything with it, but it's, oh, I'm just gonna ruin it. It's smushed now. I had a larvae. I was gonna try to put it on the end of my thing and show you what it looks like, but watch out. Get out of the way, bee. That's where my finger needs to go get. Propolis. Okay. What do we got on this one? Lots of bees. Oh, there's my queen. That's an unmarked queen. Shoot, did I have a swarm? That's a queen. Okay, I need to put her aside somewhere very safe. Shit, I have an unmarked queen in here. Okay, I need to put her where I can find her again. Oh crap, now I need to mark a queen. I can't do that today. I've got other things to do. I've got all the other things to do. Where is she? She's right there. Crap! Alright, I'm going to move her to the inside of my so I know that she is on the inner part of this frame. Okay, so what are the queen colors for? Damn, I don't want to have to mark a queen today. Ah! All right, I'm gonna pause. Maybe. Okay, well, I'm gonna do it. It's queen catcher. Put your queen in there. You very, very gently push that all the way down, and then you can mark her through the screen of this. So I have to go get my markers and I have to find out what color a queen is for 2026. We've already done green and blue. I'm wondering if it's red or yellow. I'll have to check. All right, well, according to the Google, queen bees in 2026 are white. I just got my pen out, got it primed. Let's see if I can catch this bee again. Have this ready to go. Queens kind of move fast, so I have to be very careful of how I'm doing this. It's usually much easier with two people, but I know where she is right now and I need to catch her right now. So if logic stands, she should still be in this frame. So I can get that to set there for a second. See if I can find her. That's a drone. So my thought, one of two thoughts here is, while I was waiting for a break in the weather, I could have had a swarm, or they could have had a new queen hatch, and this new queen took over from the old queen. My old queen was marked blue, so we will see with that hive what's going on, or potentially, doesn't happen often, but you can have two queens in one hive. And it just could be because the new queen hasn't found the old queen and they haven't killed each other yet, or one hasn't fought for the dominance. Where are you, my dear? Damn. Is that you? Nope, that's not you. Looking for a long thorax is what I'm doing. Because, like I said, sometimes it's easy to mistake a drone for a queen just because they're big. But is that you? Nope. Damn it. Okay, I'm just being patient. I gotta find her because I got a marker. It was most definitely a queen. It was not a drone. Sometimes they'll move around on the frames. Let's see her on the bottom. Trying to keep this definitely over top of my box in case I drop a bee. I don't want to drop a queen. Oh, for God's sakes, did she already migrate down? They can do that. She might have been like, oh my God, abort. Get out of the top box. She's going to find me. Not giving up yet. Can't. Got to find this queen. No, it was a queen because she had a very pointed back abdomen, and she was rather large. She was a big girl. Also try to see where the bees are congregating. Sometimes that's just where the queen's at, where she's hiding. Shit. Did she move? I don't see her. I wonder if I should call in some reinforcements to help me. I might have to call in Miss Roxanne and see if she wants to help me try to find and catch a queen, because I know I saw her. Shouldn't be this hard to find one. Sometimes it's just the sheer volume of the bees. I'm just blowing on them a little bit just to get them to move so I can see. I'm gonna have to check these other frames. I don't know if she moved, but I am definitely not seeing her now. Not seeing her. Damn, that's frustrating. She was just on the inside here, so She could have like gone down into the lower level of the boxes. I'm still gonna assume that she might be there, but I'm gonna grab this next frame again and I'm gonna see if she jumped over one. She might have just gone down. Oh, so many bees. Hey, where's your mom? Don't see her on here with my first immediate scan. Just doing it again, scanning for a queen, scanning for that big old thorax. So much easier when they're marked. That's why you really want to do this. Just for sometimes the sheer volume of bees trying to look through all the bodies just to see a color that's not light brown. Okay, I don't see her on this frame. I'm just blowing. Just trying to get them to move a little bit. They're kind of congregating. Nope, that's not a queen. That's a fat old drone. Okay, girls, get out of the way. I don't want to squish anybody. Ah, damn. Damn. Okay, well, I'm going to put that in my pocket and keep it handy. I might pause here for just a second. I'm going to call my friend and see if she wants to help me find a queen, because I definitely need to find her and mark her. So I might need a second pair of hands. Well, I couldn't find her again after I went through this top box like 3 different times. I think she's moved down, so I'm going to safely assume that she's not in this top box. So I'm going to carefully set this aside and make sure that if she is still in there that she can't run off. I'm going to try to transfer a bunch of these bees from this top down to that bottom, because I did see a lot of brood in this top box, so I want to get it closer to the center. So I'm going to pull off the next box and see what that one looks like. So to be determined. Also just waiting to see if I've got reinforcements coming. Put a call out to 2 of my beekeepers. Haven't heard back yet, so you know, they have a life too, so I'm gonna wait to see. I am gonna try to capture her myself. I have all my supplies ready to go in my suit if I can find her and if I can catch her. So I'm gonna try to do it myself, but it would be nicer to have a second pair of hands to do this, but that's okay. We're gonna keep going for it. So I'm gonna pull off this box. I'm gonna put these back in, and I'm gonna get into this next box here. So one other thing that you can sometimes hear a queen bee will do is something called piping. I think I mentioned that in one of my last videos. It's a very high, shrill sound, and it's the only queen bees make that sound. Only heard it a couple times. So alright, let's see if I can get this in without squishing anybody. These bees are already a little bit on high alert because the queen was up top. They're trying to protect the queen, and as you can see right now, they'll jump off your veil, they'll ping off your veil. It's kind of their way of saying, hey, we don't want you here. Get the hell out of the hive. Right now they're not being super aggressive, even though I am like disturbing everything in their hive. Let's see if I can get this one in now. There we go. Maybe. Might take a little bit of convincing here. I'm gonna squish it down in. Nope. This one's just not wanting to go in. It's gotta go though. I need the room. should go now, I think. Sometimes they don't sit quite straight up and down. There we go. It's got a little propolis, just gonna coax it in. There we go. It's gotta get in so my top will close. Okay, that's done. I'm going to carefully pick this up, set it on its side, just in case the queen is still possibly in here. I have a feeling she moved on to the next box, which is what I really want to see. So very carefully. I'm going to set this down right here. I'm just looking like at the bottom here, just making sure I don't see her. And I don't. What I do see is baby brood in all weird sorts of spots. All right, yep, I feel ya. Yeah, I know you don't want me disturbing your hive. Yeah. Yes, I get it. Okay, I'm just gonna see if she's somewhere on this next frame. If she traveled down through the sides of the hive, she might have landed somewhere on this frame. So that's the first one I'm going for. I mean, I don't know that that's going to be where she's at, but it seems like a logical assumption or a good guess. It's my hypothesis. There you go. Okay, bees. Get out of the way. I don't want to squish you. Whew. I am heating up. Okay, what do we see on this one? We see I am seeing trying to keep it over my box, but I'm trying to get it in the sun a little bit so I can see what I'm seeing here. No queen. Seeing nectar production on this one. Just making sure I'm not seeing like a mixed batch of like baby brood or anything. Okay, we're gonna put this guy down right here. And we're gonna keep looking for the queen. It's just busy work on this one. It looks mostly like just comb production. Seeing some nectar on this one. No queen. Right, no queen. No queen anywhere. queen, no queen. Alright. You can sit aside, out of my way. Oh. My hands are getting so sticky from propolis. Oh! And I just had a bee try to sting me because I just saw him hanging off my glove. No. Thank God for gloves, right? Yeah, we're getting some agitated bees now. That could be a good sign. That could be that I'm coming upon a queen somewhere. I am also looking down the sides of the boxes as I'm going just to see if she's crawling around on the side. Just blowing on the bees to make sure that I can kind of get them to move so I can see who is where on this hive, who's who. Again, looking at my bees. Good wings. Not seeing any deformities. Not seeing any mites. And I am really looking. Oh, look at your little pollen baskets. Got a cluster of bees right here. I'm just making sure she's not hiding in there. If I can get them to scatter a little bit, I can see. Alright, nothing there. These can go back in. Ugh, getting warm. Kind of been on a new diet too, and it has not been helping my energy levels. So trying to be very careful not to get myself dizzy. Nobody wants to collapse with a bunch of bees around them. Okay. Got a lot of capped brood here, that's good. I'd almost like to take some of this and just reform it, but damn, there's a lot of bees on this frame. Okay, well, they're busy, so I'm going to leave them to it. Ugh. All right. Sit down for a second. I'm getting overheated here, so. Well, I just went through this bottom hive here and I'm not seeing the queen. This is really frustrating for me. So, I am seeing some signs of some predators out right now. Like there's been a few yellow jackets, so I don't want to leave this open for too much longer. I'm gonna try to put in my my mite strips right now and see if we can get that done. What I have doesn't look like what I've used before, so I'm confused by it. So I'm gonna have to look this up real quick, just make sure that I'm doing everything right. So sometimes trying a new product, just gonna need a little bit more research. So gonna stop here for a second and then we'll go into the next hive. Okay, well, that turned out to be very non-productive. I went through that entire bottom box twice. I went through almost every single frame again. Sometimes it's just really, queens can be really elusive to find. My friend actually did end up coming out, didn't get that on camera, so Roxanne actually came out and made an appearance and was trying to help me find this queen, so we could get her marked up. Wasn't able to find the queen, so that's fine. Still have a really healthy hive, which is, I guess, overall the most important thing. I would have really preferred to have my queen marked, so when I have to do my inspections again, you know, I could at least find her faster. I will have to go in 10 days since I did put down my Formic Pro. They weren't the strips this time. They kind of came in like a big thick pad. They almost look like the pollen patties that I put down in the spring for them. They but it's actually it's poison for the mites. And then Roxanne brought up a good point that, you know, you do have to make sure that it doesn't get over 80 degrees when you have that down. So the next 10 days, there's only one day that's supposed to be above 80 degrees. It's supposed to be like 84, I think it was. So on that particular day, just to keep it so it doesn't get too hot in there. I guess if it gets too hot, that Formic Pro really just kind of like becomes overpowering for the hive with that poison. So I don't want to do that. So there may be one day this next week, I want to say it was Wednesday, that's supposed to get warmer up into the 80s, that I might actually have to put my umbrella out for the hive just to kind of control the temperature for that day, because that poison for the mites has to stay in there for 10 days solid. So that also gives me another opportunity here in 10 days to, once I take that out, because I have to go all the way back down to the very bottom hive. So I think what I might end up doing is I might go and take out that Formic Pro pad, and then when I have to go down, I might just see if I can have another opportunity to try to find the queen again on that day. So we'll see what that does. So I'll at least know that there is a unmarked queen in my hive. So I will have my stuff on me when I go to open that hive, ready to go. I'm still not sure if I have a new queen, or if possibly if I have a queen where her color, like her blue mark, might have gotten worn off. That does happen also. She was a very large queen, so I somewhat feel like, I don't know that she would be a new queen in there. Like most of the queens, if they're going to be unmarked, they're going to be relatively new queens. They're not, they're usually smaller. So she was very large. She had a very large thorax. So I'm going to presume possibly that what I was seeing might have been my original queen. But maybe her blue dot got worn off. So I'm trying to decide if I want to mark, if I can catch this queen, if I want to mark her blue, because I'm under the assumption that she might have been the old original queen. And she's just grown a little bit since I saw her last. You know, if she overwintered and she did really well, and then just starting out with the colony this spring, and just having all of her resources to go, that I don't think I've got a new queen in there. I don't know. To be determined. Since there's no color on her, I probably will just mark it white. Only reason that you really want to try to be specific with the colors on your queens is because it just gives you a visual reminder of when that queen started with that colony. Most queens have a longer lifespan than their worker bees. So a worker bee lifespan is what? Is it like 41 days, I think, start to finish? I should know that, but I can't think of the exact number off the top of my head right now. But a queen, a properly cared for queen, can last anywhere from 3 to 5 years. So that's why it's kind of important to have that color on there, so you can kind of have a visual reminder of, okay, how far am I into this queen's life cycle, to know how much longer I potentially have to keep her before either you might start seeing problems where maybe her egg laying starts slowing down, and then your worker bees will they'll cause a swarm. Okay, they'll make a queen cell in there. They look like little peanuts inside of the frame. They'll take one of their existing eggs that the queen has laid, and they'll set that aside as their new queen. They put it in a specific cell, and they feed it specifically a diet of royal jelly. That's what takes it from a worker bee to a queen bee. So the biology can be changed by what they're feeding that bee. When that happens, and then that queen cell hatches, that new virgin queen will do like a mating flight. Okay, so she's going to leave her existing hive, and that's usually when you're going to have like a swarm of bees. So one, if your queen is not dead, if she didn't die, disease, cold, whatever, or if she just left with part of the colony, if the old queen left because there was a new queen being made, that's usually what happens. The old queen will leave, the new queen will take over the old hive. So there's a lot of scenarios that are in play here. That's why I'm going into detail on this. It could be a new queen. The size of her tells me it's probably not, but I'll probably still, if I can find this queen, I'll still mark it white. So I'll just have to know and note in my journal, because I have to keep record of all of my hive inspections. So that's what I'm going to do when I'm done with this video, is I'm going to go in and just document everything that I saw today. And yeah, and then in 10 days when I have to go back in and I have to take out those mite pads, everybody keep their fingers crossed for me. I'm hoping that I can find my queen bee, so, and we can get her marked. But yeah, so I went into the other hive as well with Roxanne, and I didn't go through, that was the hive that I saw my queen in last time. So that colony is doing really well. I didn't pull out any of the frames. I just Starting to get a little bit overheated, as you can probably tell by the sweat ring still on my cap. Gross. I needed to just kind of be done for the day because it was getting warm. So we just took off the top 2 boxes. We put on the Formic Pro pad on that hive as well. Put my boxes back on. Put on an extra box. I put on a super on top of that. So when I have to go through and I have to take out all of the, when I have to take out the Formic Pro from the bottom of the box, I will be doing a more itemized inspection through that hive at that time, just to make sure that with that new box that I put on there, I did not put on my queen excluders, and here's why. Because I put on the Formic Pro, and because those pads are so much more potent, and I have the potential of having warmer days for that poison, those bees do need a little bit of extra space to migrate up into the hive, so that way they can kind of, if it gets too vaporized in there, so they have somewhere that they can go, so they'll migrate up the box. Right now, a bunch of the bees are bearding. That's where they kind of hang off the front of the hive or the sides of the hive. They're bearding right now because that Formic Pro is in there, and it's strong smelling. It smells very much like a vinegar-based poison. It's pretty strong, and it was overwhelming me a little bit. So normally when I do like a vaporized treatment, when I have the pellets that you have to put in that wand, and you put that wand inside the hive and you charge it. It has leads that you plug into a battery. So basically it takes that pellet and it superheats it and it turns it into a vapor. That's one form of what we're doing. So that's oxalic acid. When it becomes vapor, it becomes formic acid, which is basically what I have on the pads. So it's like already like the broke down version of the treatment in a vaporized form, but it's in a pad. I don't know the mechanics of how that works, if it works better over the vaporized pellets. I've never used the pads before. I've only used the strips. The strips, you kind of, they're kind of shaped like this, and they kind of go down into the hive. They kind of they saddle over top of the of your frames that are in there, and you put like four of those per like brood box, and you know, just the bees' bodies, the heat of the sun, that also kind of works in the same way. It's still a Formic Pro strip, whereas this time I accidentally got the pads. So I bought them. I'm going to use them. So there's that. Anyway, this is where I'm going to end my video. I will try to do another video when we get in there in another 10 days. Weather permitting. If I'm dealing with cold weather or rain, I won't be able to get in there. So it's just going to be dependent on what the weather's doing for me, so that way I can get in there and do a little bit more. My 10 frame box, I do need to go all the way down and find that queen. So I guess to be determined, but this is where I'm going to end the video, because that's all I got, folks. So sorry I wasn't able to video any more of that. It was just very labor intensive, and it was just a little bit too difficult to try to manage the camera with it at the same time. So yeah, stay tuned for 2 more weeks from now, and we'll see what we have. All right, well, everybody take care, be good, love ya.